Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuhu, brothers and sisters. Muhammad's Prosperity back with another video. Today's video is about why you keep falling off and feel burnt out. Now, this can happen for a lot of things, but the main thing and what we call this concept, being in a rut. Now, what is a rut exactly? Now, a rut is when, you might be on your self-improvement journey and you see that you're actually doing pretty good. For example, you may be consistent with everything that you plan to do. Like as a Muslim, it's my 5 pillars, but there's also the gym, school, work, diet, and all these other little things. What the rut is where you kind of get to this point of, you just slip. You're kind of just at this point where you're lazy, you don't really want to do anything. And even though you recognize it, you kind of don't want to get out. The truth is, ruts can be pretty comfortable. You're just sluggish, you're not really doing anything, you're not really demanded at anything, or that's what you think so in the time of you being in a rut. Now, why being in a rut is bad, is really not good for you, is you're preventing, the growth from happening. And on top of you preventing the growth from happening, you're actively probably indulging in things that make you go down in terms of your character. So, let's say you're on a goal to, lower screen time. When you're in a rut, you're not gonna really care about the screen time. So you're gonna increase your screen time because you're not gonna really care about your screen time, which means that you're not only missing out on things that would also grow you, So let's say you're like, I wanna go to the gym and I wanna lower my screen time. So you're already not going to the gym, but on top of you not going to the gym, you're also increasing your screen time. So now you're kind of in this lose-lose. You're losing more. Now, what's actually pretty interesting about the idea of ruts is that, it just causes so much more bad than good. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lose-lose. When you're in a rut, you're not only avoiding the things that make you grow as a person, but you're also indulging in things that bring you down as a person. I'm gonna get into how to get out of a rut. First reason why we get into ruts is we do too much, we burn ourselves out, and we do so much in the beginning. We do so much that we can't really handle. So what do I mean by this? Now, I really like this analogy. Imagine there's a guy who goes to the gym. It's his first day at the gym, but he puts 500 pounds on each side on bench. He's not gonna be able to lift the weight. But what if instead of him than 500 pounds on each side, he put 10. It's his first day, he'll probably be able to do it. It'll burn him, you know what I'm saying? He should get to a point in the gym where it's like tell failure. So he should be able to do the weight. He should do the weight until failure. And then the next day, he's able to go and he does 11 pounds, 12 pounds, 13 pounds. So the idea of progressive overload. Now, I'm pretty sure you heard this advice a lot, but one thing that I always kind of had this conflict with is, how can I do enough where I know that I'm pushing myself and I'm growing, but at the same time, I'm not burning myself out in the process? You guys have felt the same sort of way. So how can we push ourselves without burning out? See, the problem that happens is when we hear this idea of not burning yourself out, you also hear the other end of the spectrum was like, oh no, you have to give it all 100% every day, because if you miss one day, then you're falling behind and you have more in you. And then on the other end, when you think like that, there's the idea of, no, you're gonna burn out, don't do too much, slow down. Here's the thing, you don't wanna slow down too much. At the same time, you don't wanna push yourself. So honestly, this really comes to evaluation. Here's what I like to say. First, there are things that are not negotiable in terms of what you have to do for these actions. So for example, I wanna pray my 5 daily prayers. But here's the thing, the 5 daily prayers are the mandatory prayers. Now, let's say I want to pray sunnah prayers, witr, for example. The truth is, witr is not required, so I don't need to aim on praying witr right away if I'm even just struggling to pray the 5 prayers and I'm having ruts and I'm not even praying the 5 daily prayers. See, what happens with us is when we're on our self-improvement zone, we like to do everything. But what you need to do, strategically plan to build things up. So if let's say you're a Muslim right now who isn't praying, it's Ramadan, you fast, you give a little zakat, whatnot, but you're not praying. what I would do and what I would really start with is have these breakdowns. And here's what I like to do. I like to go in these 2-month increments. So if you never prayed before, your only goal for the first 2 months is just pray the 5 daily prayers, right? But you can build these things for yourself. I pray the 5 daily prayers. Now let's say I never even prayed them before. Now look, I don't want to suggest that you should pray late, but what I'm saying is you want to still aim to pray them on time. But even if you don't, then it's still like, you know what? I went from not praying before at all, now I'm praying 5 times a day for like 2 months. Now, after you pray 5 times a day for 2 months, what I suggest you do after that is pray 5 times a day, but you have to pray them on time. You have to wake up for Fajr. You have to wake up for Dhuhr. I mean, you're probably going to be awake for Dhuhr. I hope you're awake for Dhuhr. You know, pray Asr on time, Maghrib on time, Isha on time. Then, in the other 2 months, like the end of it, so it would have been 6 months, 2 months, 2 months, 2 months. Now you're like, you know what? Let me add praying witr. Another 2 months later, I know that there's 2 sunnah prayers. Let me do the sunrise prayer. Now, I'm not only saying focus on one thing at a time. You can focus on multiple things. But what I like to do is just get everything that you personally want to do and set these growth plans for you. Okay, I want to focus on praying. I want to focus on my gym consistency and studying. So what you're going to do is, well, all these things you can do them all consecutively. That's what's really nice. Okay, now my prayers, I already explained that to you. Now there's the other option of what is gym. So now let's say I went from never hitting the gym. To be honest, the gym's really nice because it is just smooth progressive overload. You can always start with the same amount of workout, same amount of time. You just move on into weight. And what I like to do is I like to add 2.5 pounds for every day of the workout that I do. So when it's like leg day and I'm doing leg extensions, 100 pounds, the next time it's leg day and I have the exact leg extension workout, I do 102.5. It's like that idea of slightly growing in terms of weight. With studying, build with an amount that is good enough where I can get something out of the way, but not too much. And the best amount in my head that just popped up is 20 minutes. Okay, so now I have these 20 minutes. 20 minutes is like one assignment. And I never did homework after school. I always kind of pushed it into school or procrastinated really late. Let me have 20 minutes a day. Then after that 20 minutes a day for 2 months, I'm like 30 minutes a day. And after 30 minutes a day for 2 months, then I could do 40 minutes a day. It's always about building up to it. So using the 2 month, like I like to call this a 2 month growth strategy. You have 2 months of you doing something. And my, logic behind that is because you spent 60 days doing something. When you have these 2 month blocks, it's not so long that you're dragging it, but it's not so little where you're rushing it. 2 months is perfect. If I never went from doing this to that, then now I'm able to go from this to that. The other point that I was leading into, when you are on your growth journey, you also do need rest days. Do not be 7 days a week, grind. Because for a long time, I always thought that I have to be in this self-improvement zone. And you kind of do hear a lot of these, self-improvement gurus and people online. They always speak about, no, every day you need to push because if you miss one day, you're done. Here's the truth. That one rest day that you have is productive for your growth as well. It would be better off for you to have that rest day than not, because it will make the other days that you are productive more efficient. And I like to work in this like 70-30 split. So what it is 5 days of the week are my grind days. I'm doing everything. I'm locked in, I'm bulking, taking notes, I'm journaling, watching courses, studying, praying, and doing all of these things. Then for 2 days, the only thing that's required of me for these 2 days is what's obligated of me. Saturday and Sunday, I just need to do my 5 daily prayers. But everything else, I don't have to worry about the gym. I literally give myself the time to kick back and relax. And it's really important to have this balance, because I used to think that I was missing out or being lazy. The truth is these 2 rest days that I have for myself are really productive for my growth. And you know what I'm saying? The time for me to recover and kind of give myself that rest. So then the next week I can tackle it. And since I had 2 days, the next 5 days I'll be really locked in. And you give yourself that time to enjoy. You give yourself that time to relax. And what I noticed is these 2 rest days, things that are like normally not as fun become way more funner, because now they do become more exclusive to these 2 days. So something, for example, is like going to the amusement park. Here's the thing. I never really liked amusement parks. Now, since I've started this, when I noticed that it's like only in these certain amount of times that I can go, and it's more finite, you go, you enjoy it more. But since you only did it for that 2 days, you have this whole 5, 6 days where you have to wait for you to do it again. So then you enjoy that really, one day a lot. And with the idea of barakah, you put more barakah into your enjoyment and more barakah into your productivity and work. Another thing that can lead into rut is not having a sense of direction in the day. And this is what I've noticed a lot with me. I would assume most of you might plan your day, but it's not necessarily planning your day. But when you have these actions, you just plan what you're gonna do. So you don't really plan when you might really go to the gym, but you might keep it broadly. Okay, after school, I'll go to the gym. And at the gym, you have your gym workout, your routine. Now, the problem with not really planning your day is it adds this little mental strain throughout the day that, yeah, sure, it might not seem that deep, but it really does add up. You might be losing 10% of your mental performance that day just for thinking about what you have to do next. So the solution to this, and you wouldn't believe if I told you, you just need to plan your next day. That's it. You only have to plan your next day. How do I plan my days? How I personally plan my days is I really do plan it from when I wake up till I sleep. But here's what I do. I only deeply plan my productivity time in the day. Wake up and then I order smoothies, protein smoothies, by the way. No Jamba Juice. But Jamba Juice has some, protein smoothies are where they're at. I get ready. I pray. After I pray, I drink my smoothies. After I drink my smoothies, I go to the gym. After the gym, I go to the restaurant and the gym. Right now I'm on vacation in Iraq to see my family. So it's like the gym has a restaurant downstairs inside it. I know we don't really have stuff like that. Well, Lifetime Fitness. Anyways, I have this structure set. Now, one mistake that I also made when I was planning my days is I literally planned everything. It's like even when I had my free time throughout the day, so after I'm done doing what I, had to do, I had this free time and I was still planning out the free time. You need to, again, with your free time, let it go. Just go with the flow. The only thing you need to worry about is after your free time, have the time where it has to end. And then for me, it's from midday until when I have to get ready to sleep. And then when I get ready to sleep and stuff, I always have to do it at that set time so I don't sleep too late and whatnot. So really just planning your day out helps you know what you have to do. It's like you can tackle the day. And in a way you kind of video gamify, what you're doing is kind of like fun. Like you have this list and you're knocking it out. It's like boom, boom. A huge, big part of ruts and why they happen is not performing, your acts of worship that you're required to do as a Muslim. Truth is, you can hear this video and might feel motivated. You're like, nah, I'm not gonna get another rut, or nah, I don't plan to. But here's the truth. The biggest thing is your acts of worship, prayer especially, because all these things do something to you. When you give zakat, financially in the zone, because there's barakah in your money, and because you're pleasing Allah, Allah will help you be more always financially productive and efficient. So you're never gonna have this rut of overspending or spending in a bad way. Praying keeps you spiritually productive and it cleanses your soul. So then what it does is it's kind of always cleaning your slate. See, ruts is the idea of building up and then you burn out. But it's imagine you always clean that slate and then you're always fresh. It keeps you able to push through and persevere. Then there's, La ilaha illallah, the shahadat. And that's just for your heart, and your nafs, and you're acknowledging the one God worthy of worship. And that God is Allah. And Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is his messenger. Then there's pilgrimage, which, as a Muslim, if you can perform pilgrimage, I think that it's just that one point in your life that afterwards, you're going to tend to be more just productive because you did, your requirement as a Muslim, which was Hajj. Then fasting. Fasting is the best way you're suppressing yourself of the food and water and desire that we have as humans for Allah's sake. And it makes you much more grateful. And it puts barakah in your day. And because you did something so disciplined, it kind of just lets you go out. And the idea is your objective is to not do something. That's kind of what's interesting about fasting. Your objective is just not to eat. It's not that you have to do something. The action is not doing something. You're not eating, you're not drinking water, and you're abstaining from, acts of intercourse. And it really does test that. It builds that overall self-discipline, but not only that, but it is also a good way to have a clean slate. So even just fasting once a month, just to be able to start the month off fresh, does a lot for you. Because even if, you kind of fall off or slip off, fasting is that just amazing mental reset that helps you persevere, continue, and not slip. The final thing that I wanted to conclude, which is more of a bonus, is plan your days around your prayer and worship. Don't plan worship and prayer around your days. So I think that we have this tendency where we try to sneak prayer into our days. So it's like, I wake up, let me just pray real quick, then I go to the gym. It's more about, let's plan our days around the prayers. So instead of me like, okay, let me pray real quick and go to the gym, let me be like, okay, I can pray and then let me go to the gym real quick. It's like you're making the prayer the number one priority and then the gym and as secondary. And once again, Allah would not take away from you if you do something to please Him. I'm missing out on 15 minutes of gym time because I really am prioritizing my prayer. Allah's not gonna actually make you go down or worse or perform worse in the gym. And you're seeking His happiness and His pleasure. So because of that, Allah will put barakah in even that 45-minute gym session instead of 1 hour, and spiritually be doing so good through what barakah and blessings Allah may send you. Inshallah, that 45-minute session would be better than someone doing the 1 hour session but missing our prayers. Hey, everyone, this is going to conclude my video. Thank you so much. Ma'as salama. And may you guys see me next time. Bye-bye.